Great. Good morning and welcome to Working Horses with Jim. This is the day after Baron had his operation. And as you can see, he's doing very well. Absolutely no bleeding. And if you guys missed that video of us taking him to the vet clinic, you could go back and see that if you'd like. People have asked about what we do with the sawdust in our sawmill. And as you can see, we use it for bedding. This is kind of the grubbier sawdust that has a lot of bark in it actually. And that's because we did a cleanup out in the sawmill. For people that haven't been watching us that regularly, so the sawdust that comes from our sawmill is dumped into this old truck body to be used for bedding. And for you guys that have not watched our videos a lot, we have a sawmill that we use. We do logging with horses and farming with horses, but we also have a sawmill that we use to saw up the lumber that we log with our horses with. And we actually did a major cleanup here the other day and took a big share of the sawdust out of here, and but it's already starting to fill back in, and we cleaned out completely underneath the sawmill, and it's already starting to get sawdust and bark and stuff underneath there. But anyways, it's a lot cleaner than it was in here, which is great. But we have done some sawing since then, and we've actually got a problem here with our sawmill. Yesterday, as I went to took Baron to the clinic, William was going to do a little bit of sawing, and he sawed just, it looks like he was actually on his first log that he was sawing, and he said all of a sudden he heard a noise out of the motor and saw oil pouring right out of the side of the motor. So that is not good. I thought maybe it was just coming from this drain plug because it seems quite loose. So I was going to drain the oil and see if maybe I could tighten that up. Then I decided, well, let me just try to start it up first and see where it's actually coming from. So William helped me and he started it up, and I could see the oil just pouring out of there. So that is not good. I have a friend of mine coming over this morning to look at it and see if he can see what we're going to have to do. So I'll give you updates on that as time goes on. This is where he was with the sawmill when the oil started pouring out. As you can see, it even poured over that log. So anyways, we'll get on to some of the stuff that we're going to be working on here the next couple days and show you a little bit more things. It is very cold this morning. I'm not sure what the temperature is. Mid-20s, I think. And as you can see, Brenda's greenhouse is probably not very warm inside of there. we actually have some ideas how to change that and make it into a warmer greenhouse on these cold nights. But right now we need to fill our fire in our furnace. Actually, I guess I'm not going to fill the fire. We have a whole lot of coals in there and half burned wood. So we're just going to let it sit and we'll try to get some of that burned down today, and then tonight we'll fill it up. As you can see, and some people have asked what we do with all of our slab wood. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of our slab wood we burn right here in this outdoor furnace. This is a really nice furnace that we can burn pretty well anything in, and so that's what we use quite often. We also have some really nice hardwood over here also that we use. It just kind of depends on what the temperature is of the weather and such as to what we're using in our furnace. Okay, on to the next job. Hey, sit there. Haven't you? Get out. Get. Dinner. Dinner. Well, good afternoon, everybody. So we have decided to swap some horses around. Lady and Bill were outside this morning, and I want to let the colts out this afternoon. And I want to take Baron and Ken and give them a tiny little bit of a workout. So that's what we're going to do. Ken didn't get brushed this morning because he was in the box stall. Baron got brushed this morning, so I don't have to worry about him. And I'm just going to work him for, 15-20 minutes, really. Just a quick walk up. I'll show you what I'm doing when we get going. But I'm just going to give Ken just a real quick brushing. It's just really not that important to overdo it and it's just not a big deal. Just give him just a real quick brushing to go on this short little trip. So before I brush Ken's other side, I'm sure Baron would like a little water. So I let him out, and then I finish up Ken with a quick brushing. It's a cold day today. Wind's blowing. It's just not very nice out there. And get away, Skip. And just the same, you can see the long winter here coming off these horses a little bit as they start shedding. Can't get out. Get again. Head over. You got it. Come on, guys, get in there. So now we'll go on to harnessing up Baron. Get her. Yep. Okay. Hey. Cast up. Oh. Ha. Have you? Ha. Have you? Ba. Oh. Now ba. Up here. Oh. Okay, so we are off, and I know you guys can't feel it, but this wind is kind of brutal for March. So I have Baron and Ken. The reason I have these two is because I have got to log for a little while tomorrow at Postmas College, and my plan is to take Bill and Ken. I have not used Ken all winter, but I'm going to use him tomorrow because Baron, because of his operation, I don't want to work him up in the woods. I just want to give him a little exercise. So that's why I'm working him with Ken, because he needs some exercise. He is very energetic right now, which is no surprise. But I'm just going to give him a little exercise. So as soon as they settle down a little bit, I'll explain what I'm doing even today. That is, if he settles down. He may not even settle down today. He's had so little work in the last week, so much time standing in the barn, it's just terrible. Ken actually has had a fair amount of work. He's been pretty steady most every day, even if it's just for short sessions of work. So they're settling down a little bit. I want to show you a few things. We are not with an empty sled today. We have some piping back here. So I want to go show you what exactly we're going to do with this piping. Oh. Oh. Hi, step. So we are going up into what we call our side hill pasture. This is a field that's usually just in pasture, and I've talked about this a little bit before. But this year, because we don't have quite as many head of cattle, we're thinking that we might, or probably, will hay this field for one cutting, and then let the cows and horses out in here for the second cutting. At the further end of this field is what we call the south field. And that was a field that was actually forest when we moved here. When we get a little closer, I'll explain where that line was of actual forest. So off to our left here, you'll see there's some new fence posts, or most of them are new fence posts. These are fence posts we made out of tamarack, and they're 2.5 inches by 2.5 square fence posts, and then we sharpen them with a chainsaw to make them so they can, you know, to pound them into the ground. And so that's what we've got here. We actually put we're putting a new fence around this whole field so that to keep the cows out of this field that we're going to use for haying this year. So that's what we have. The wire is laid out there beside the post. Posts are in, the insulators are in. We just have not attached it all yet because we're doing a little bit of excavating work up here. As you can see, my little excavator is right ahead of us, and I'll show you what we're doing. Oh. So before I get ahead of myself, right here, let me get off here. Right here, approximately a line like that, to my left here, this was all wooded land just like you see in the distance. About 10 years ago now, we decided to cut all the trees off it, and I had a guy in here with actually a chipper, and he chipped it, and we took all the trees off, and then I hired a guy with an excavator and a truck to move everything, all of the stumps and all the rocks were dug out of this field, and then we did the rest of the work with the horses. So we picked all the smaller stones out through here, I plowed it with the horses, and we had corn in here for about 3 years. And the first year was such a trial to get it ready to plant in time, but we did it, and we did not have a very good crop that first year, of course, because the fertility in this land and the lime and all that good stuff was so low, it did not grow that well. But we still had a crop, and I believe we had it in corn for 3 years. For the next 2 years, we added a lot of manure to it and lime, and we were getting some pretty good crops. But then, because of all the stones that were still here, as you know, if anyone's done any farming around stones, they just seem to keep growing. So we decided we're going to seed it down. So that's what we did, and so it's been seeded down ever since. And sometimes we hay it, and sometimes it's in pasture. But now we've chosen to put a fence around it, and we're going to put it in a hayfield for this year at least and see what happens. So that was a tremendous amount of work for us to plow up and pick all those stones to make this woodland usable and into tillable and usable farmland. When the guys with the excavator was here, we have a tremendous wet hole up there. I'll show you. It's very wet up there. So they ran 2 4-inch tiles down across this field somewhere in this area here, and then it came down to here, and this is where the outlet was. It was actually a little ways farther down there, but I was having troubles and it was kind of plugged up. So I knew it was, and I had to dig it up to find my tile. And now I have the 2 tiles right there. The left-hand tile is running water really good. The right-hand tile is kind of half plugged. When we came up here a couple weeks ago, when we had that better, warmer weather, up where I will show you in a second, was running right over the top of the tiles and running right across the field on top of the ground, which is not good. We had to fix that. So I was able to dig in there, and I'll show you what I mean, and got that. At least the one tile was running pretty good. Somewhere right around this general facility, at that point, the water was bubbling right up out of the ground. Well, I made the major mistake of not marking it, not putting a stake in that spot. So I don't know for sure where it is. I think it's right in this area here, but I don't think I want to dig it up yet until I know for sure where that water is bubbling up, because there's different times throughout the year when there's a lot of water that it just bubbles up. Yeah, it might be right there, but I'm not sure, so I don't want to take a chance to dig it all up and then find out I found the wrong spot. And some water is going through that one tile. So anyways, let me go show you the other end, and that's what this tile is for that's on the sled that I'm going to use up at the other end, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. That cups out. You have to pardon my gassy horse today, but then most of you guys are used to that. Oh. Okay, so this is where the tiles start. There's 2 tiles there. Of course, you can't see them now because I'll cover up the ice. But anyways, as you can see, there's a lot of wetness out through there, almost a stream coming right into this hole off the 2 sides. So without these tiles, the water actually runs right over the top of my field and makes it terribly wet. A couple weeks ago, like I said, this was right full and running right over the top of the field. I did get the one tile going good, but the problem we've had ever since we put this tile in, it was kind of just sitting in the dirt, and the leaves would come down through and kind of plug it up. And so I should have done something years ago, but after having the guys here to do the tiling in my big field, it kind of gave me an idea of how to fix this problem. So what I'm going to do is I have this big pipe here. This pipe is going to sit upright just outside the field there. I'm going to dig a hole so the end of the pipe actually sits into the dirt securely, and then I have to make a coupler, dig in by hand and find my 2 pipes, put a coupler on it and add some pipe, 4-inch pipe to it, and bring that pipe to the big tile. And in the big tile I have, alright guys, oh, so in the big tile I have 2 4-inch holes, they're actually 4 1/4, that this pipe, the end of it, will stick in side by side, 2 of them. This end here will go into the ground. I'll dig a hole, and then up here I have holes drilled in here so that it allows the water to come into the big pipe and then go down the tile. These are the couplers that connect the pipes together. So this longer pipe will be cut to the right length so that I can slide that into the existing pipes and then into the big tile. So we're not going to do that for a day or 2, but who knows, if I think of it, I could even show you how I go about doing it. But for right now, I'm just going to unload it here and head home, take these guys home, maybe even make a little bit faster trip, because they really need to do a little trotting because they're feeling, Baron especially is feeling pretty good, although Ken would be more than happy just to walk, but he doesn't mind trotting, so we'll head home and give him a little exercise. That might give you a little bit better idea. Those 2 holes will be right at ground level, and then the pipes will go into that. All right, let's jump on, hang on, and let's go for a ride. I catch that. Skippy is loving this. He gets to run around, race us around. Baron's saying, "Oh my goodness, I sure needed this. Just gotta get out and go," he says. I generally don't let horses canter like this, but when they're feeling this good, and you only have a short period of time that you want to be working the horses, it does relieve some energy a little bit on their part. But I would highly not suggest it to people that haven't used horses much, because it's a little bit careless, I guess you could say. So many things can happen and go wrong. So now I gotta stop at the road. Oh! 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 Nice step. maybe you've thought all this time of watching me and my horses that old Ken would never have the energy to take off and run like this, but once in a while, you take this cold weather and a lot of standing around in the barn, they really like to go. Even Ken. Percheron, look at that. Yeah. Oh. Hey, step. Oh. Hoop. Hoop. Ah, hoop. Careful. Careful. Get in there. Hey. 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 Get yourself. Get. Get. Come here. Hey, get yourself. Huh. Get in there. Come here. Come here. Hey. Hey. Here. You know. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys have a great day and we'll see you next time. Who knows what we'll be up to next.